They say that at the stroke of midnight hour, while the world slept, India awoke to life and freedom. But for one boy, born at that exact second, that freedom came with strange, magical, and a very heavy burden. There are some books that tell a story, and then there are books that feel like an entire country dreaming out loud. Midnight's Children is one of those books. This is not a quiet novel. It does not walk towards you politely. It arrives like a crowded Indian railway platform at midnight. Voices everywhere, smells everywhere, history bumping into superstition, politics sitting beside poetry, tragedy laughing in the same room as absurdity. And somewhere in the middle of all that chaos is one boy. A child whose life becomes tangled amazingly with the fate of an entire nation. Now, on paper, that sounds almost magical. But a strange thing about this book is that the magic is never really escapism. It feels deeply Indian. It is a kind of storytelling where gossip, myth, memory, and family history all sit together at the dinner table drinking chai. While reading this, I constantly had this feeling that I was not just reading a novel. I was listening to India remember itself, messily, emotionally, unreliably. Like an old storyteller who keeps getting distracted but somehow still tells you the truth. Today, let's talk about Midnight's Children by Mr. Salman Rushdie, a book that is brilliant, exhausting, chaotic, and unforgettable. Published in 1981, Midnight's Children did not just win the Booker Prize. It went on to win the Booker of Bookers, which honestly feels appropriate. This novel doesn't just want to tell a story, it wants to swallow history whole and retell it through the lens of human emotion. Now, Mr. Rushdie's writing style is not for everyone. He writes in long, flowing sentences that feels musical, almost symphonic. Characters appear suddenly, stories branch into other stories, time bends. Reading him feels less like walking down a straight road and more like wandering through old Mumbai lanes during monsoon season. You are dodging puddles of history, hearing the shout of a character from a balcony 3 stories up, and smelling the spice of a story that hasn't even happened yet. It's crowded, it's loud, and it's alive. And I think what makes this so powerful is that Mr. Rushdie understood a fundamental truth. History is not experienced like a textbook. Nations are not built in neat chapters. People remember things emotionally, selectively, dramatically. Families exaggerate stories. Governments rewrite them. Individuals simply try to survive them. This novel plays with that uncertainty constantly. You never fully know if the narrator is giving you facts or just emotional truth disguised as fiction. But in this world, that uncertainty is the point. The story follows Salim Sinai, born precisely at midnight on August the 15th, 1947. Because of the timing of his birth, Salim discovers he is telepathically linked to the 1000 other Midnight's Children born in the first hour of independence, each endowed with a different magical gift. What begins as a personal story gradually expands into something enormous: partition, wars, identity, power, and underneath everything, this haunting question: can an individual survive the weight of entire history? Salim is a fascinating narrator because he is deeply unreliable. He interrupts himself, he contradicts himself, and gets lost in the side stories. But honestly, that makes him feel real because the memory is unreliable, especially in a country as emotionally layered as India. In the West, they often call this magical realism, but here we just call it family history. It's the way a grandmother tells a story where a person's mood can change the flavor of the food they cook. In this book, a nose becomes symbolic. A family argument feels historical. A political event feels personal. It captures something uniquely Indian: how our private lives are never fully private. Families absorb politics. History enters the bedroom. And sometimes, entire generations inherit the emotional wounds they never chose. I wonder, Do you have a family story like that? One that feels too strange to be true, but your elders swear by it? Let me know that one mystic family story in the comments. I would love to read them while I have my next coffee. Reading Midnight Children felt like sitting inside someone's mind while they are desperately trying to hold together a collapsing scrapbook of a memory. And I mean that as a compliment. Let me tell you this. This is not a clean reading experience. Some books glide, this book swirls. Sometimes beautifully, sometimes overwhelmingly. Beneath all wordplay, there is a very real fear here. The fear of losing identity. The fear that history is too large for ordinary people to survive unchanged. I think many of us understand that feeling today. The sense that world is changing quite faster than we can process it. That the childhood versions of ourselves slowly disappear, becoming it difficult to explain it to next generation. I'll be honest with you. This is not an easy book. It demands patience. It punishes impatience. If you allow yourself to settle into its rhythm, the chaos begins forming patterns. The noise becomes music. And suddenly, you realize you are not just reading about one person. You are reading about the human soul. So, if you enjoy layered fiction, books that blur the line between history and mythology, stories that feel ambitious and emotionally alive, then Midnight Children is worth experiencing at least once. Not because it gives easy answers, but because it captures what it feels like for a nation, a family, and a human being to all grow up together at the same time. I am Nikhil. Thank you for spending this time with me. If this conversation sparked something for you, I would love to have you join our community by hitting that subscribe button and sharing this video with a fellow reader. We will meet again soon for another book, another quiet conversation, and another cup of coffee. Until then, take care of yourself and keep turning the page. I thank you very much.